Well, hello, beautiful people. How are you today? How's it going? Hey, Jeannie Marie, or Jean Marie. Sorry. Kay Layla, Beach Bum, Donna. Hey, Trace. News Nation. I know I saw it last night. News Nation is covering Jarrett Brooks suddenly a year too late, thanks to his parents, right? I watched the whole thing last night. I sure did. Oh man, it's terrible. It's terrible. Hey, Alpha Femme X Teen. How are you? All right, y'all. This is gonna be a weird one. I mean, what's not? Okay, first off, what's not weird? These people are freaking weird. Weird. And then I guess we'll address rumblings from the interwebs. I don't really know what to call it besides uh some bullshit. I don't really know what else to talk to call it. Something about Lori Hillis and I don't know, basically saying she didn't care what my mom thought, and I was just like, "Whoa, that really sucks." Obviously, obviously, right? Duh, saw that one. Hey, NF mom, how are you? Cool and wet here in Wyoming. Oh, I miss the wet weather. Hey, Juanita Stamper, how are you? I don't know, but something about eh, I don't know. I watched the clip and everything, but it was Lori Hillis, and she said something about or somebody, I guess, brought it up in her comment section anyways, and said that I had tweeted, and I was like, "I didn't tweet shit, first off." So there's that. We can put that to bed. And, uh, anyways, we'll get to that afterwards. It'll give me some time to think and put it together a little bit in my head. But, okay, so the other night, I was watching Missing 411, okay? Which, I mean, okay. I've always seen the thumbnail, I just really didn't know what it was about, okay, at all. But it was so eerily, uh, anyways, I guess in the way I read this portion of Visions of Glory and then watched and then, but I didn't connect them that at that moment. I did, however, read this blurb in Visions of Glory, and I was like, "Son of a bitch. Wow." I think this is what's going on. I think that for what it's worth, I don't have to understand it because I really don't. I've tried. I am trying to understand what it means to remote view. It's freaked me out, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, what remote viewing is. And I mean, can we first off say that that's a huge invasion of privacy, if this is going on? I mean, it's something that the CIA kind of experimented. I say kind of experimented with back in the 60s, 70s, and so on. Uh, they had a Operation Stargate, but they really didn't too much fiddle with it. I mean, they kind of acted blasé about it, and they were like, "Well, yeah, yeah, yeah," you know. And I'm just like, that's super sus to me, especially knowing the track record and learning more about the track record of our government three-letter agency there. I don't trust them, first off. To me, it's not been shown through things. Not with all the experimentation that has gone on, and basically no accountability for that. But okay, and so I mean, I'm not like a normal reader, okay? I'm not a normal person, first off. Can we just put that out there? But I mean, I don't like reading books. I hate reading books. But here's, Visions of Glory, and I'm just like there was nothing in it thus far that I've glanced over, that I've proofread over, that suggested anything interesting. Okay. And I'm not interested, first off, but I am interested on the side of, what was Lori, what was Chad, what's Tim's big thing with this book? What is so damn good about this book? Okay. And I wasn't seeing it until now. And so what I want to do, I'm not sure how to do it. Do I show you the clip first, or do I read it to you first? I'm gonna go ahead and show you the clip, because I want you to realize, I want you to understand maybe who, what's, anyways, let me just try to frame this. It's very difficult, right? Okay. So this is just a little trailer that, Missing 411. Okay. So hopefully they don't get me for this, but it's a trailer. So I'm rolling with it. But just pay attention, and also remember that Tylee, they had brought her and JJ to a state national park, Yellowstone. Just understand that. And so this one, or this case, may have gone a little, it may have brought things out of the woods and maybe into the backyard of Chad. That's kind of where I'm going. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't mean to play that. But I was, it interested me because I had just read that little blurb that I'm going to read to you, out of Visions of Glory. Okay. And the way he wrote about it made me think about what may be going on. So let me pull that up so we can get, let me push present. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. Let me out of here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's on there. So what I just kind of used my phone to transfer the text over just from this little portion. So that you can read with me. Visions of Glory, right? This is starting at page 195. And I think it's to 199 or 200. I don't remember. So it's quite a little bit. And it starts with portals among us, okay? Actually, let me skip that part because that's before portals among us. All right. That's what the chapter name is, Portals Among Us. So it says let me do this. We were busy expanding Zion by gathering in the elect all around the globe through the portals. By this time, every translated person had his or her own portal, but there was a learning curve to using it. For inexperienced people, they could only travel so far and would have to walk or obtain other transportation to go beyond that. I don't know when to change it. I'm not reading it from the screen, so just know that. Some newly translated people would go out on their missions and then become overwhelmed by what they saw. And with fear or sorrow in their hearts, they could not return via the portals and thus pollute Zion. Right? Okay, it says they had to begin their journeys back to Zion afoot, awaiting the time when they could regroup their faith and overcome their fear so that their portals could bring them back home. All of us began serving the Lord in this way, with little knowledge of what we were doing. We all went out and taught and blessed those to whom we were assigned, and then brought them home by boat, on foot, or by whatever means were available. As we learned how powerful our gifts were, and as by greater faith and greater experience and obedience, we obtained full use of the translated state, we began to be able to bring the pure among them through the portals directly into Zion. Those whom we gathered this way were perfectly pure in heart prior to our coming to them. Okay. Hold on. I began reading it from the screen. Anyways, any self-interest or impure desire would simply stop the portal from working, and we would have to leave them to find their own way to Zion. Even for us, the first citizens of Zion, this was our journey, the systematic stripping away of everything we possessed and everything we thought we needed to survive. It was this process that had purified us and taught us how magnificent life is with total confidence in our loving God. It was the only way to learn this exalting form of purity. And it's going to go to page 196. Okay. Turn in your books, Visions of Glory, right? Anyway, so that's not right. What? Oh, okay. Duh. Okay, so it says uh, those whom, sorry, those whom we found ready to join us, the very elect of God, had submitted to this purifying process already during the course of their lives. And we brought them to Zion singing songs of everlasting joy. That's one of those code phrases, okay? And it goes to the doctrine. You know, I've heard that song, I've read that song, I've seen that song so many times. These pure hearts were the ones whom Isaiah proclaimed we would bring back on our shoulders into Zion, singing songs of everlasting joy. Again, these did not sleep or slumber or come in haste and did not unlatch their shoes. We brought them through the portals with joy into Zion, but they were the vast exception. Okay, hold on. All right. We also learned that agency was forever in force, and being translated did not eliminate the possibility of incorrectly using our agency. I don't have knowledge of any translated person turning to evil, okay, and losing his status and salvation. But I did hear of a few people who learned by hard experience that they had to diligently maintain their stature of righteousness, or the gifts and the portals would cease to work. If our assignments required us to assume a new identity, John the Beloved, uh, James and Elena, Phoebe, all the names. Let me finish the cigarette so I can concentrate. If our assignment required us to assume a new identity, passing through a portal changed our appearance. We almost never arrived at our destination in our Zion identity. I did not look or talk like Spencer, Tom, right? My clothing and my appearance was changed. I had a full knowledge of who my new persona was and how to be that person, including history, memories, and language. I could be anything the Lord needed me to be to accomplish my work. It may seem strange that we were changed, but history is filled with stories of angels appearing in many forms, sometimes as old men, young women, or even as a child's playmate. Yet we know that angels are ageless and not old or young, so they obviously come to us in the form that blesses us most. Oh, Lord. It's called deception. The only difference here was that we were now those angels. Male angels always appeared as male, and females always appeared as female. But in any guise we were inspired to take. It sounds a lot like what Julie Rowe is touting. I'm always a female. I'm never a blade of grass, or whatever she says. By studying each mission beforehand, I was fully aware of my next identity, and I was prepared to minister in that way. When I returned to my temple office, I was myself again. I never had to go change, bathe, okay, Jody, or rest. Sometimes I was sent through the portal to a time that was earlier than that present time in Zion. I went back to answer prayers, to fulfill promises, to keep covenants, or to adjust some past event in the lives of those to whom I ministered. I sometimes spent long periods of time on a mission, even months and years, but when I returned to Zion, I returned just a few minutes later than when I left. What I am alluding to is that when we learned to utilize the portal fully, it was limitless in power. Okay. Uh, would I would prompt it would prompt me when I needed to return to them to rescue or assist them in continuing their journey to Zion. As my spiritual maturity grew, I found that I needed less and less to quote see or quote preview my mission through the portal. My faith in my ability to receive revelation and to be guided in the moment became much more powerful than sight or prior knowledge. I began to love this latter and higher form of service. I would walk by faith, watching the miracles unfold as ministered to these people. I never felt alone, lost, or without the power to do what the Lord had commissioned me to do. This was to actually have the mind of God, to be one with Him, and to act the same as if He were there Himself. This was thrilling to me and much more powerful than seeing beforehand and knowing what to do. My bad. This is the chapter 2 prophets. It's about to get interesting. I mean, for visions of glory, Okay. It says, it was at this time that 2 prophets were called in Zion to go and alter the course of the Jewish people. I knew who they were at the time, but I have not retained that memory. I believe they were members of the Quorum of the 12 who were then serving in Zion. Just, you have to look at this as if he's not talking about a dream, okay? He's talking about real life and whatever remote viewing entails. Astral projecting, I don't know the correct term. There's a whole umbrella of terms. Just, I haven't gotten there yet. It freaked me out so bad. I just was like, can't do that. And then I'm like, oh my God, maybe you can. But it's interesting. Okay, so it says, I believe they were members. Okay, I already said that. I know that they studied their mission via the portal in the temple, their portal, the portal in the temple, and they were prepared for their mission and their sacrifice. They left with great courage, knowing their task was pivotal, and that it would cost them their lives. They were ordained by Jesus Christ Himself to this great calling before a large assemblage in the temple, and then they departed from our sight through the portal. And then the next chapter is dealing with warfare. This is okay, get your popcorn. By this time, there was no warfare near Zion or those camped around her. There was some violence in the outer camps, but we didn't police them in any way. Just think about the national parks, okay? The only time I actually experienced full warfare was when I went through the portal on assignment. We often found ourselves under attack or being threatened by unredeemed people. We had learned over the years how to deal with warfare, or I'm going to say unredeemed people, okay? At first, the power of God was not in full display, and we wrought miracles to stay out of sight and out of conflict, to stay out of sight. As time progressed, we were allowed to deal with people as the Spirit directed, often in miracles that all could see. Just by a thought, I could move people far away from me. They found themselves in a new place, completely at a loss to explain how. We could become invisible if need be. It wasn't a form of invisibility where light passed through our bodies. It was that those who sought us simply could not comprehend that we were there. A digital photo probably would have captured our presence. Many times we walked right past the people who were hunting us. I don't think they were hunted. Projection. They could even bump into one of us and they did not. I'm sorry. Okay, that's messed up. They could even bump into one of us and they did not comprehend it. Sometimes soldiers walked past me as if I were a lamppost stepping around me, but not seeing that it was me. I was completely protected, as were the people who were with me. Hmm. At times, our enemies would approach our group. I would speak to them, but they did not seem to see me because, oh, that's okay, because they did not reply or even look at me. They sometimes saw the group I was leading, but they never saw me. I would say to them something like, quote, "There is no one here," or anything that the Lord led me to say, and they would leave. We were never in any danger, but those with me trembled with fear because they were still on their quote journey to Zion, which involved long experience in learning to completely and absolutely trust the Lord. Mm-mm. I could also cre- I could also create an illusion if need be. If we were standing before the soldiers, this is so creepy. I could cause them to see us suddenly turn. I could cause them to see us suddenly turn and try to run away in a different direction. They would fire and be satisfied that we had been eliminated. After such an illusion, they could no longer see us, and that's why we would leave. Or that's why they would leave. I don't know. They could even hear our voices or noise of our departure. They couldn't. They couldn't even hear our voices or noise of our departure, no matter what it was. These things were continually amazing to me, and I always glorified God in my heart, and I plainly told the people what had happened so they could enhance their faith in Christ's protection and love. I'm sure he's talking about his people. And here's that weird part, there was a law we followed. It was not a rule, but a law. When an individual or group threatened us, we knew their hearts. If there was any hope, even the slightest hope that they could be saved, even in the most celestial sense, we did not harm them. When we were confronted by people who were fully ripe in iniquity and who would never repent, then we were free to deliver them from mortality. Their death would then be a blessing to them because they could no longer add additional iniquity to their divine ledger. That one. In the beginning of our work of gathering, we most often hid behind God's power. No shit. Right? Yes. It's somebody's power, but you hide behind it. Towards the end, we were most often granted permission to display God's power. Instead of hiding from them, we started them on their immortal journey. When we did this, it was not a bloodbath, oh, and rarely a consumption by fire. Tylee, it was not a bloodbath and rarely a consumption by fire. They just fell to the ground and slipped, oh my God, slipped into his eternities. When this happened, we felt happy for them to be freed from the torment of their own delusions. With God, they would eventually, uh-oh, what? Would eventually, something upon their souls, see clearly once again and could choose to cease heaping condemnation. Teaching with power is the next chapter. In the beginning of our gathering, we were sent to people who had already prepared themselves, many of whom were Latter-day Saints, but also many who were the honest in heart from many Christian faiths, all people who led to Zion, no matter what their background was, had to be taught and prepared to enter the sacred parts of Zion. They had to be changed. Their journey to Zion didn't end when they arrived. There was still a great spiritual journey to accomplish. For this purpose, we set up schools in Zion that anyone could enter. These were beautiful buildings with special classrooms, meeting halls that resembled chapels, and other rooms, including baptismal fonts. More than half of the current citizens of Zion worked in these schools to teach those who were coming to Zion. I was not a teacher. I was a gatherer and an officiator in the temple, right? He was a gatherer, just like Jason Mao, just like Lori and Melanie. Just like in a university today, there were levels of students. Of course, there were levels, The new people were there because they had been brought to Zion by miracles and preserved by angels who confessed openly that Christ had sent them. These new people wanted to know who we were and how we had done what we had done. They could behold the glory of Zion and the perfect health and beauty of our people, and they wanted to know why this was and how to become a part of it. This is that youthful stuff. Mhm. Our teachers taught with power, opening the scriptures and speaking the language of Zion, which every person heard as his own language. There were few stumbling there were few stumbling blocks to accepting what was being taught. The Spirit of God was upon us all, and there were pillars of fire, and the glory of God was throughout Zion. It was a missionary's dream assignment. There were thousands of baptisms and ordinances performed every day. We limited the size of meetings to hundreds rather than thousands, and people were sometimes obligated to wait to be taught and wait again to be baptized. As people progressed, their experiences grew greater and greater. In time, angels attended the meetings and translated people taught classes. Resurrected beings showed them visions of the truth of the history of the earth and their own lives. No ordinance was performed before the candidate was prepared. The blessings were immediately bestowed. It starts to sound like the second anointing if I have it all. I don't know. When people were baptized and given the gift of the Holy Ghost, okay, they immediately received a full remission of sins and the Holy Ghost as their constant companion, causing them to be immediately changed by the atonement of Christ. Cries of delight, prophetic utterances, visions, and miracles immediately became a part of their lives. When people reached this point, the living water began to change them into the millennial format. All of this teaching effort was highly organized. Of course it is. Yeah, we can tell. Take a sip. It was truly the school of the prophets because people emerged from that process fully worthy with great views of the future. Once people were taught and changed, our concerns for and about them ceased. They were true for the remainder of all eternity. We were able to trust them with the most sacred assignments, and they could fulfill them with inspiration and exactness. It is important to note here that there was a waiting period to these things, and these initial changes marked the beginning of their journey. There was a waiting period requirement for their spiritual growth, not just as a matter of policy, but to grant them time to grow in their gifts. After baptism, there was a period before they were ordained to the priesthood. There was a waiting period before they were able to enter the temple. There was a longer waiting period before they could enter the holiest parts of the temple and be fully endowed. Okay. There was a further period of growth and preparation to be in the presence of God. These greater and spiritually lofty gifts of God were obtained at great cost before the building of Zion, and being in Zion and experiencing these miracles did not change the price of admission into the presence of God. The temple experience was much the same as today, but with some modifications to bring it into the Zion format. There was no movie because every person saw the actual creation and Garden of Eden teachings and vision. Now, I mean, that's just a note that most Latter-day Saints, they used to watch this video about the creation, okay? And so that's what there was no movie, okay? I'm assuming. When we progress from level to level, the room, so this is them moving through the temple, I do believe. This is like, I remember saying a while back, I've never been in a temple, but the sense I get, the general sense is that you do move through the temple, you go through certain booths, you go through certain levels, you go from telestial to terrestrial to celestial. It reminded me of like whenever I went to Disney World and went through the Epcot Center, and you kind of rode on this ride that would take you through the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, kind of like evolution, and it's interesting to anyways. All right, the room changed from telestial. Let me start back here. When we progress from level to level, the room changed from celestial, okay, which is the worldly, to terrestrial, and then to celestial, which is the highest level of heaven, okay? But it's also a room in a temple. And this is also where second anointings take place. And the veil of the temple was not fabric, but the actual veil of heaven. Okay, the city of Enoch. How much did I go here? The city of Enoch. I'm not sure how many years had passed by this time. It was still pre second coming. In my visions of these times, I was not shown the I was not shown the return of the city of Enoch. I just knew that they were among us and working on the same labors as we were. The city of Enoch now occupied some or most of the new landmass in the Gulf of Mexico. These details of their return and their I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. I was like, dang. So again, I know it's hard to kind of see through all that, but the whole part about them, basically, this is what I kind of envisioned when he was talking about their enemies, or spiritual warfare, whatever the hell he said. I'm like, oh my God, is it possible? Hear me out, okay? Get your tinfoil hats out, okay? Is it possible to remote view? And in doing so, does that mean that you are invisible to people in the present? Does that mean that you could sneak up on somebody, perhaps a parent with their little kid, um, anywhere, basically, but they tend to stick more towards the state parks. Um, and then can you call someone? I mean, if you watch the entire 411 missing 411 documentary, there's this little boy. I can't think of his name right now. He was 2 or 3. His father was he was holding the skull cap of his little boy. Okay. The little boy, his clothes were tattered. He was found years later. Okay. They've already went over this area, just like with baby Dior. They went over and over and over the areas, except baby Dior has not been found still. But to me, it just seems like years later, they just place them back. I don't know how that works. I really don't know. But I mean, there will be like a cell phone, not with the babies, but with some of the missing people, there will be like their cell phone will be there, but it would not have been out there for 6 years, roughing out all the weather elements, and it just doesn't show any evidence of that. Okay. So it's like, what? Um, and then, I mean, just again, hear me out. It just seems so weird and so out there, and just it doesn't seem like it could be reality. But if I mean Janet Russin, if this is what Janet Russin is doing too, because I've thought about that earlier, right? Whenever I was getting everything ready for this, the Blaze article, let me pull it up, because that's what even got me like kind of like, oh crap, this is a possibility. I'm not paying to get into this thing though. I'll tell you that right now. Let me switch over. I ain't paying for it. I ain't paying for it. Okay. Blaze News investigates the psychic who guided Tim Ballard and some Operation Underground and railroad missions for years. Okay. And so they're talk. I swear if the thing comes up for me to pay, I'm gonna freak out. Here we go. Either wrong or irrelevant, Russin and the work of remote viewing. Boom, hiding in plain sight, y'all. Just saying. It is unclear exactly when Russin met Tim Ballard, though one person guessed to Blaze News that their introduction could have occurred as far back as 2007. What is clear is that whenever they met, Ballard quickly became fascinated by Russin's purported ability to commune with spirits and began consulting her about early rescue missions by 2013. On the rare occasions on which Ballard discussed her ability with colleagues at OUR, he referred to it as, quote, remote viewing. Perhaps because of his background as a federal agent. I don't think so. During the 1970s, the CIA and other agencies began exploring the possible benefits of remote viewing in federal investigations. The idea then fell out of favor, probably because that shit worked too good, and they didn't want nobody to find out. The idea then fell out of favor before resurging in the 1990s, just a few years before Ballard became an agent. An official, this is where I went a long time ago, an official CIA study of remote viewing published in 1995 ultimately concluded that its value for intelligence agencies, quote, cannot be readily discerned, unquote, and likely introduced too many complications to make remote viewers' intel worthwhile. What if they're just like rogue remote viewers? What if they're not doing it for the government? You know what I'm saying? Quote, normally, much of the data provided by the RVs is either wrong or irrelevant, although one cannot always tell which is which without further investigation, unquote, the study said. In response to Blaze News' request for answers regarding her work and her relationship with Ballard, Russin never denied being a psychic or communicating with spirits. In fact, her email sidestepped all questions regarding her supposed paranormal powers entirely, implying that answers to such questions would not, quote, benefit Blaze News' audience. She then offered an alternative list of, quote, more important topics for possible discussion without providing further comment on any of them. Her list of suggested topics has been included here in full. So she put anti-human trafficking of minors, the U.S. border crisis, new legislation to improve border policy. Okay. Prevention of trafficking through adoption. Correct. These are all the things that, in my opinion, that they're doing. Just allegedly, in my opinion. The crisis of children who age out of the opportunity to be adopted both domestically and internationally. The need to form and maintain alliances and cooperative relationships with other anti-human trafficking organizations worldwide. Foster care in the U.S. and other countries. Russin did not reply to Blaze News' follow-up email asking for further information about her psychic work. So I'm going to grab this link and I'll share it with you in the chat, and then I'll grab the CIA.gov one, and you can go do your own research in the remote viewing, and then you can fill me in because it's freaky. Okay. Shit freaks me out because is this what is happening as far as like when people say that they're being gang stalked and or whenever people talk about body energy weapons and all the things like that, you know, I don't really know. It freaks me out. Again, I'm just saying. Yeah. Did not realize how arrogant I was as LDS until I broke away. I need a shirt that says, I'm sorry for, oh my God, that's awesome. I'm sorry for what I said when I was Mormon. Please, I will make that come true if you just allow me to use your idea. Oh my God. That's funny. Donnell, you're funny. So Tom, you know, this kind of you got to think about how we've heard that Julie Rowe, who also claims to be doing this kind of remote viewing or traveling, you know, and seeing all these past lives and all the things, and how her and Chad were meeting with the portal teacher, how to portal, Tom Harrison, allegedly. And then it just kind of makes me think, and just so hear me out with this. This is what came into my mind the other night. It was just like, I read that blurb. I didn't read as much of it, but I read that part where he's basically like, oh, we can be invisible and we can basically move that person without, and them not even knowing how they got there. If you go and watch that 411, missing 411, There's kids who are moved like 16 miles away from where they were, and just weird things, and I'm just like, are these people preying on these children, basically, and not just children, but people who come up missing? Is this where all the missing people go? I know it's really woo-woo, but is it? Is it really out there? Reading playing cards from my friends, I was right half the time, right? um, and then it goes. I'm going even further with it to say that these people who, let's say that they have the ability to remote view and to because of that, for whatever, I don't know how it works. I just know it's weird. But let's just say that they can. Let's say that they can because they travel in the future, the past, the present, all that weird shit, okay? Let's just say. And let's say that that makes them invisible to us. And but they can really, like Tom just said, like he was given miracles, for the whole world to see. Let's say that this is what's been happening for a very long time. And then they get pleasure off of exploiting it as does Glenn Beck, in my opinion. Okay. He was in that damn documentary reporting on it. Kids go missing, Oh, woo woo, woo woo. Okay. Then you have East Idaho News. You have Frank Vandersloot, who, enjoys spinning it, I guess. I don't know. And exploiting it in that sense. That resonates with me. It does. Because it's like full on exploitation. All the way. All the way. I don't know. I don't know how to make it. I don't know if I didn't present it right or, I don't know. To me, it makes sense. Ugh, I'm trying to get out of this screen here. Hold on. Okay. Let's see here. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Oh, hell. All right. Oh, and not to mention this one right here, President Oaks, he's got CIA ties, You know what I'm saying? These people are very secretive. Anyways, the storyline for Missing 401 is a documentary that chronicles the similar disappearances of 5 children in the wilds of North America across multiple decades. Interesting, So I showed this one. I'm gonna show. These are a couple of the other trailers. They're not in order, so we'll just wing it.
Well, they went down there probably 10, 15 minutes, and then they saw minnows.
Chaos. That's their thing. Chaos. That's their thing. All right, let me go to the next one. Oh, hell. Thank you, Beach Mom.
8 miles. That's as the crow flies. It's impossible to walk out here
This
as
is
a crow would fly.
Rod Meldrum's cousin.
In the span of less than 24 hours, you'd have to believe that this 2-year-old covered perhaps as many as 12 miles.
Thank you. No.
As it was, his clothing was found
yeah,
ripped,
they did.
and they figure it's
This
likely
boy.
from barbed wire fences, either going through them or under them. And even with a full moon tonight, I can't see anything going through this bush.
Dark.
So if I'm a 2-year-old child and I've got to walk through this or crawl through this, I get to this time of night, I can't see Keith going anywhere. I can't go anywhere. How
Look at
a 2-year-old could travel the topography I'm traveling now, little shoes, and it was freezing temperatures, even if he was a kid full of energy.
What if they're invisible and they just snatch the babies up and then put them
This
back?
is roughly the area the searchers found him. His father was about 100 yards that way, and he's found here, face down in the snow, hat and coat beside him. Searcher finds him. Father, maybe 200 yards away, runs over, picks him up, and he's alive.
He's alive. Woo! Yo, can you imagine? Can you even, that baby, oh my God. Yeah, they never did find baby Dior. They did find, forget his name, Jared, I think. This is, you'll hear Glenn Beck on this part right here.
Good evening, everyone. You're in the right place at the right time. This is Coast to Coast AM. Tonight, we plunge once again into the deep end of the paranormal pool. Hundreds of people vanished from our national parks and forests, some right under the noses of parents or family members, under very unusual but very similar circumstances. Dave Politis, welcome back to the program.
Well, thanks for having me, George.
All right, Dave, I want to jump right into this. Dior Kuntz, 2 years old. I mean, you were a cop. If you were investigating this case, abduction is one of the least likely events, right?
I would probably say yes. And the reason for that is that the family was in a campground deep into the mountains. There was one very rocky, rough road going in and the same road out. If someone would have driven into that area, you would think that the family would have heard them. And if they would have walked up to the campsite, they for sure would have been seen.
It's like in so many of the other cases, it's like he's plucked out of the sky. It's like just snatched out of the sky.
Yeah, Glenn. Wonder how. Is it some sneaky McSneakersons? That's what I'm asking. It's a plausible question, especially if this stuff is. Go look online. Go Google astral projection, and you will see the forums and the boards and people talking about it. And I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, this is nuts. There's all my visions of glory, you know. And I mean, he for sure is having these out of body experiences. Is it that he is writing this book as if he had near death experiences, or I mean, that way he can kind of talk about these things in plain sight. Again, this I think is what Lori and Chad are like, oh my God, you know, because ever since then, ever since I came across this little blurb or whatever, I'm like, oh my God, that's what's going on. He is astral traveling for whatever that means, you know, whatever that means. Anyways, I mean, it was shown to me that God does not dwell in a reality limited by time or distance. Oh, another thing. Anybody who followed the case, you know, with Donna Serafina, okay? We like Jason brought this up one night and I was like, oh my God, I never even thought about that. Because the way she describes things about looking for Tylee and JJ, you know, she talks about how she can't really make out the numbers and she can't really see what, you know, it's just like melted together, she said. So I'm like, okay, so Jason bringing that up, saying that maybe she was time traveling. I'm like, or not time traveling, remote viewing. I'm like, holy crap. You know, I never thought about that. Never thought about that. This is from this show right here. I don't even remember what I captured, but let's see.
And there, to me, there's only three explanations, and you tell me how you look at these. And I know you don't draw conclusions; you're just bringing the facts. There's either a natural cause, and when I say natural, that's fall in a hole, fall in a well, you know, serial killer on the loose. It's a natural, logical reason why they disappeared. The other is what I call the Bigfoot category, that there is a creature in the woods who could prey on these humans, and we just don't know who it is, but it's in our dimension. We just don't know what it is.
Right.
And then the third, and probably the most troubling category, which I call the U.S.
I wonder. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even looked that far. I'll have to read more into. Oh, come on. Catch up.
UFO category would be any kind of interdimensional traveler, alien from another solar system or another planet, demonic, something that is just absolutely out of our normal physics world.
I gotta pull this other one up too.
So is that a pretty good way to look at that? It has to fall in one of those categories.
Those are probably the three most common ones that I hear. The first point about a serial killer falling into a hole. If somebody was walking along and they fell into a hole, the dogs would track right to the hole. So that's out. And they don't bring in just one dog team. There's multiple dog teams that are brought into these things. So even if one's having, let's say, a bad day for some reason, other dogs are going to find it. Serial killer. The areas I'm in, I would probably say that 80% of the people are armed. And before I lived in Montana, I lived in Colorado, a big gun-toting state in the woods. And if there was a serial killer out there, there would be bloodshed on the trail.
Right.
And the other point to that is that people tend not to understand that a male body, let's say weighs 200 pounds. That's a lot of weight to be packing around.
Yeah.
It's not easy to lift up a 200-pound body and drag it any distance at all.
Correct.
And again, trackers would find this. Canines would pick it up. A lot of times they bring in cadaver dogs. So even if you bury somebody 5-6 feet in the ground, a cadaver dog is going to hit on that. Even if you put a body in the water and you weight it down, there's specially trained dogs that smell that under the water. There's minute sized bubbles that come up that you won't see, but the dog can smell it. So getting rid of a body is not an easy thing. So I would discount those two right away. Now let's talk about Terrence Woods, the guy who ran into the woods. Bigfoot? No. Now let's talk about Connie Johnson, disappeared in the woods. Now.
Uh-oh. Well, good. I needed to pause to be in compliance with YouTube fair use. Oh, good.
Connie had her dog's name was Ace, been with her for a lifetime. The strange part of the story is Connie disappears 10 days.
Good Lord. Buffering. Every day I'm buffering, right? Come on, Connie.
Later, Ace shows up 14 miles away at the ranger station she worked at for 25 years. And the dog walked up to a pilot that was getting their plane ready to leave, and the pilot recognized the dog.
Crazy.
Now, what we needed there was the dog whisperer,
Yes.
but he wasn't around. And they brought the dog back to the camp in the hopes that it would lead them to Connie, and the dog didn't do it. But I don't mean to discount totally what you guys are saying, but I will say that I did a show called Vanished, and it's on.
I was about to.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just let it catch up. And there's a clip right after this one I want to show you, and it's about GHB, which was found in JJ's body. But I mean, this guy, he'll talk a lot about how their deaths are usually, a lot of them are undetermined.
You can watch it for a couple bucks. It was a production by Prometheus, the same people that do Oak Island and Ancient Aliens. And it was a 2-hour special about my work. And at one point, they flew me to Wisconsin, and I met with a physicist, a theoretical physicist. And the conversation off camera was as interesting as it was on camera. And he
What the hell, man? I have crappy internet. Can we just say that?
said that, Dave, there are people studying portals, physicists
Oh, God.
around the world studying portals right now, seeing if they can arm them. What they meant by that was the ability to point the portal at somebody and make them disappear.
What? I mean, come on, if we're even considering that. Oh my God. It's crazy.
Well,
It's about to, I can see where it's trying to buffer and catch up and.
off camera, because Prometheus didn't want this on camera, I asked him, I said, well,
This is crappy. I want my money back. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now it's buffering. I mean,
a
preloading.
lot of my cases, the hunters or the families say, hey, my son was right next to me when he disappeared. I turned around and they were gone. I said, those things happen a lot. And he says, Dave, that's my point. It's almost as though something is arming the portals, and we're trying to understand how to do that. And there's physicists for different governmental organizations all over the world that are trying to do this. This guy's name was Dr. John Brandenburg, who is a consultant for NASA.
I don't trust any of them. Anyway, that's me. Okay, and so this one right here, and then I'm gonna go find the song that I found also that is about Glenn Beck. Somebody actually wrote it about Glenn Beck, and it is troubling. Okay, I found it whenever I was looking for. There's a song that I do to Tim Ballard, and it's got like Rambo vibes and machine guns and like say hello to my little friend, you know. And I was looking for Second Coming, just to kind of get a general consensus of what people believe about the Second Coming. And anyway, so I was doing research on that, and I found it kind of hidden behind in a wiki page, and I was like, what the hell? It's nuts. Let me go grab it. But yeah, this is about GHB, which GHB was found in JJ's body. Yes, your body does produce it, but there's no reason for these amounts to be in, especially a child's body. Okay. But it's just trigger warning. Okay. It got me. Whew.
Times
Did
a lot
I
about
miss the part where he said that they would be paralyzed? And I'm like, oh my God. It just made me think about JJ. And then if they did administer GHB to him, as it kind of suggests in his autopsy, so he was aware of everything going on, but paralyzed. And I'm sure, bound, there's that part too. And it bothers me. They bother me. They bother me.
Yeah, but it would have to be in the alcohol. Correct. And a lot of times these people are at parties where nobody's around. Are they?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I told this to Ashlyn now that she's, 18 and goes out. I know she's under the drinking age, but I've been under the drinking age before and still drank, but when you go out to public places, especially bars, don't ever leave your drink unattended. Okay. Ever. Because it takes nothing for an opportunist to, make sure that you're incapacitated and, aren't able to recall things. And they can they have a better chance at having their way with you. Okay. So, be careful.
They
tested and stuff. I get what it's not exactly what I was saying, but it kind of crosses paths with it. All right. So here is this interesting and troubling video. Now, I have to run it through my Veed app to add captions to it. So just know that the captions aren't there right now in this one. So it's interesting. And the guy, let me show you all this too. That way I can show you where I got it from first. And so this is from the wiki page where I found the song, and it says English song, Glenn Beck, No Alibi. Okay. And it was uploaded September 14, 2009. it was this person's own work, and this is the person, GW Superfan. Okay. And I mean, it says it's his work. It says that, you know, you can use it. Anyway, so there's that aspect of it. And then here is a song. Good song. In the ditch beside the road.
Got raped and murdered, now her body's getting cold. The people want to know the truth about that night. If he's not guilty, then why does he fear the light? When Beck is sitting silent and he's got no alibi, he'll just go on TV and cry. He tries to silence the discussion of his crime, answering those who are asking questions here online.
It's horrifying.
More people are asking the question every day. Did Beck rape that girl and take her life away? When Beck is sitting silent and he's got no alibi, he'll just go on TV and cry.
I know. Little brain. But he's saying it's his sister, and he's saying that DB here raped and murdered her. Okay.
What happened on that night is all we want to know. Was Glenn Beck drunk on Jack or maybe high on blow? More people are asking the question every day. Did Glenn Beck rape that girl and take her life away?
Did he rape that girl and take her life away?
Sitting silent and he's got no alibi. He'll just go on TV and cry.
GW Superfan. GW Superfan.
Sitting silent and he's got no alibi. He'll just go on TV and cry.
I put that before. Good Satan. Good Satan. Yeah, it does. It is a Green Day song. I hope I'm probably just got struck, you know, but I've been wanting to share that with y'all forever now. And this was a perfect time to share that. And if you listen to the lyrics, I don't fault the guy. He's just he's somebody whose sister was R-worded and M-worded. And he's pointing his fingers at Glenn Beck. And he's saying that there's never a reason why. Was he high on alcohol? Was he high on blow? But his sister, this guy's sister, was R-worded and M-worded and left in a ditch, dead. Okay. So I'm like, oh my God, I've never heard about this. Okay. And I mean, of all places to find it, I found it in the back section of Wiki. Okay. I'm a digger, you know, I mean, I was just looking and that's where it led me. Okay. Weird. So also, I think these things sometimes just happen, you know, and I'm just like, oh, why did I have to stumble across this too, you know? But it makes me wonder, how many victims there are in their wakes. How many? And I mean, I'm scared to know the number, honestly. I'm scared to know the number. Birds of a feather flock together. There's a reason why these people, as a narcissist would, they direct these things. They're trying to be rewarded, and be seen as saviors, okay? Because they have a God complex. And so they're like, oh, we're Dewey do-gooders, and they're like, we're, like Glenn Beck would, as we just heard, is on Coast to Coast Radio reporting on all these people. It's like they got plucked out of thin air, out of the sky. And you're just like, did they? Did they? The gloating that goes on. To me, it's like, ha ha, in your face. We're laughing at you. All the while, we know what happened to your family member or members, and we're going to gloat about it. We're going to get praised for doing it. We're going to exploit it to the nth degree. We're going to exploit it every which way around. We're going to make money off of it. We're going to get, all the love and support from everybody around us because we're just doing a good thing. To me, it stinks. And to me, if you put that aspect of it on it, I mean, that checks out. Okay. To me, that checks out. So, anyways, I don't know what y'all are thinking. I know I'm very out there today. Usually I'm out there, right? So I'm right on course. Anyways, let me just kind of thumb through these. I mean, you got this, okay? You got this.
Round 1 to 15, it don't mean a thing. It's who's wearing the belt when we step out of the ring. So I'll overcome whatever you bring because I'm the undisputed heavyweight and pound for pound king. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Attorney General Reyes faces Republican challenge.
Thank you, Kay Layla. Appreciate that. Yeah, they're out there, little brands. Just a little bit.
Hi, I'm Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes. Help me stop texting and driving by taking the pledge and dancing the Wookiee at endtexrex.org. And I challenge State Auditor John Dougal, Speaker Greg Hughes, and Utah Ute football coach Kyle Whittingham. Come do the Wookiee.
I'm sorry. I did that. It's on the video. It's just, I can't look away. The stormtroopers are baddies. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much crap, There's so much crap. There's the song Mommy and the Zombie Killers. This is Christopher Parrott, Avo. This is their magician. Okay, he lives in Canada. His name is, hold on, let me not mess it up. There's Roger Young, and then there's, oh my God, Richard Young. This is Richard, or Dick. We can call him Dick Young. Okay. And when you go look at his website, it's crazy. Okay. But he was in the weekend that JJ was murdered. This guy here, Richard Young, Dick Young, a magician from Canada. Nothing against Canada. Just these people are freaking weird and they freak me out. He and Jason Mao were allegedly in Montana, Billings, Montana, the same weekend, doing a singles ward. They were speaking. Okay. That's the one with the real sketch schedule. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. These people are teaching your singles ward people. And I mean, when you look at the schedule, it's so vague, it's so broad, it's so like a 2-year-old could have done it, it's just very simple. And these people aren't simple, they're far from simple. I mean, they're so out there and bold and in your face. I hate the way it copies them over and over again. And just bonkers. They're batshit effing crazy. Okay. And that's just what I think. So, what the hell is this? Huh. Yeah. Okay. Is that at the end of that one? I remember doing this one. I would open it, but it's like a raccoon that goes across the screen because, I mean, you have to make fun of these people. They drive me nuts. I mean, they drive me nuts if I let them, So I make fun of them because they're easy to make fun of. It's like they're so rich. Well, not these people, but they're so rich. They're so in your face, bold, out there, supposed to be doing these governmental jobs and working for the people, and they're not. They're protecting their other peeps, they're protecting Tim Ballard, they're protecting Chad Daybell, they're protecting Lori Vallow to an extent. I mean, I totally 100% believe that Lori and Chad were protected to a degree. There is no way all these things just, screwed the victims the entire way. And I'm just like, holy crap, how does one or two, how do these people get away with doing such heinous stuff? It's disturbing. And if you just kind of pay attention to what is being said, this is, I made this, commented via Coast to Coast radio show and the Missing 411 documentary, a documentary that chronicles the similar disappearances of 5 children in the wilds of North America across multiple decades. But yet we just heard that song where he's Glenn Beck, No Alibi, this song. It's interesting to me. Interesting. Let's see what this one does. DJ Loinclar. He's checking out that lady's derriere. Anyways, so all right, I'm just kind of stumbling around now. I know I miss dancing. Oh my god! Now when I do it, I'm just like, oh my god, sit down. Tell myself that. Yeah, Ravina says they're trying to trick people. They're not dancing to heal or to celebrate. Oh, and Chris had brought this up the other day. He had texted me something about mirrors, and he was like, he reminded me about how Lori had mirrors, right? And then there's mirrors in the temple, and they're mirrors that are facing each other, even. And so that creates a portal, if you will. And so I don't know what's really going on there, but I mean, again, and we'll read more into Visions of Glory. It's like now that it kind of, no, it really made sense to me as far as what was going on with Tom. And now that I've seen that thread, I've been like, my nose has been in Visions of Glory. I'm like, oh my God, I never thought that I would. And now I just want to read it. I'm just like, oh, hell no. I want to expose it. But I have to do it in a way where, plus I have to read it. So I'm not a very good reader. I don't have a good voice. And I stumble over my words for the most part. Now, let me go to this part about Lori Hellis, because I don't think that's right. Just give me a second to pull that up. And I do want to thank Web Sleuth for letting me know. First off, she texted me and let me know that this had been said by Lori Hellis and that she stood up for both my mom and myself. And I appreciate that. I really do. It's not often that happens. Okay, let's see. And I mean, there's a lot I could go into, but I'm not, I don't know. I'm not there right now for sure. Like I'd have to think about it. But in 2021, I could have just, whew, I was fit to be tied as far as Lori Hellis. Okay. All right. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm just going to pull up what Trish, because she had pulled this part up. Let's see. And that way you'll know what the hell I'm talking about. Let's see.
Without talking to the victims' families first, because their names were being thrown out there.
Okay, hold on. Let me back this up. Back that ass up.
Okay, so let's just say, and it's not up to me to understand what the buyer is doing. It's, not my business, but just my opinion. I don't understand why the buyer had to put out a press release without talking to the victims' families first, because their names were being thrown out there.
Yep.
I don't understand that, but that's not what I'm really upset about, even though to me that makes no sense. I'm going to play to you.
It does.
What Lori Hellis said. And again, we're playing, it's just a real quick snippet in accordance with YouTube's fair use policy. Yes. And the reason why I'm doing this, people, is because although I don't know Kay and Larry, I feel very protective of them. And I do know Kresha. And Kresha is Kay's daughter. I feel very protective of that whole family. And I thought this was very cruel, what you're about to hear, okay? So hang on here. Let me get this. I got to do this.
I know, Jean Marie. Where has all the damn time gone?
And again, if somebody can tell me why the press release had to come out telling everybody what they were going to do with the property before talking to the victim's family. If somebody can explain that to me, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Okay, so here we go. Again, this is Lori Hellis.
Before this goes, just know that nothing has been communicated with my side of the family, nor Tammy's side of the family. Nothing. And so all this is coming out, it's not our fault. Like, I mean, I'm the first one to tell you if I'm in the wrong or, it's not our fault. This is happening. And this is par for the course, in my opinion, because this is how everything has gone. We've had absolutely zero say so, except for the celebration of life. That's it. Zach and Cole, my Uncle Charles's sons, they have had zero say so, except for where they wish to, what they wish to do with their father's ashes. It's like everything else has been Lori and Chad's doing, and the court, everything else has been handled judicially, and it's nothing. Nobody is like, hey, it's not normal. It's definitely not normal. But I mean, again, this is red rum. Murder is messy.
Hellis's YouTube, and it's called Children of Darkness and Light. And here we go. This is just a snippet of it.
This made my mouth drop.
Somebody saying Kresha tweeted out that no one consulted her. Kresha didn't put the money up for the properties.
First off, Kresha didn't tweet shit. Okay. So I don't know what this person said, and I don't know why she's repeating it. Okay. I didn't tweet shit. My mom did. I didn't.
So I don't really think she's got much to say.
Let me back out.
Tweeted out that no one consulted her. Kresha didn't put the money up for the property, so I don't really think she's got much to say about it.
And you're right, Lori Hellis. We don't have much to fucking say about it. Thank you for rubbing that in.
I don't think Kresha said no one consulted her. I think she tweeted that no one contacted them to tell them what was going on.
And I didn't tweet nothing. So there's that.
But let's continue.
I understand that Kay didn't know anything about it, and I don't really care whether she's happy or not.
Okay. Can we just sit with that a little bit? All right. Who is you? Okay. Who is you, bitch? First off. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Because, I mean, how righteous do we have to be? Okay. We know you don't care. I know you don't care. Okay. You know how I know? Because you were okay with exploiting my family right from the beginning with your book. Okay. I mean, I have screenshots of where my uncle was like, what? Writing a book about my family. You know, I mean, it's very like, what? And yet everybody is touting this person. Okay. And meanwhile, behind the scenes, I'm like livid because this is way back then. Everything was horrible at that time. 2021, when the indictments came down, I was having the time of my life, struggling. I mean, there was even one, this is all at the same time too. Everything was just poo-pooing at the same time. And I mean, this is whenever the indictments came down. This is whenever it was JJ's birthday. It was Tammy's birthday. It was my birthday. It was around this time, you know? I mean, where I'm going back to right now. And then you had this one was appearing on another channel, you know, every Friday night. And was kind of, again, the authoritative type, you know, like you have to go to these people or that person and they're just whatever they say is word. And I'm just like, okay. And I mean, I do appreciate people's input. However, not in an authoritative kind of way. All right. And definitely, this one never brings my damn name up, first off. Okay. But it's weird how they put your name and your family's names in their mouths whenever they are trying to do their own deed. You know, whenever Lori Hellis went and, what do you call that? You know, brought the filing against Judge Boyce about unsealing everything. Okay, that was nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. And I suspect that my parents went to that one of the hearings after that to make sure that their names weren't name dropped. I mean, that's just me. That's just my speculation. But I don't blame them because people do it. People will name drop and make you think that they're doing it with the blessing or, you know, of the family. And that is not true at all. Okay. That is not true at all. So my thing is I was going this, and I'm going back to 2021, this indictments. It was birthday, JJ's birthday. And I mean, they had just found the kids June 9th, the year before. I mean, it was still so fresh, so raw. It was still so fresh and raw. And, you know, there's this one in Facebook comments saying that she's going to write a book. And I'm just like, oh my God, you know, and it throws you back with all the things that are just flying at you. And yeah, we don't have a say so then. I didn't have a say so then. Yet I was basically up against a whole army of people who don't stop long enough to even see what's going on behind the scenes, you know, to see how what a person may be doing that is affecting you and your ability to heal or to go through the healing process. You can never heal because everything is continuously scratched open. The wound never gets a chance to heal because it's not just you and your family dealing with it. No, it's the whole damn world. And you're just like, oh my God, you know, and you're just trying to preserve. I was just trying to preserve my own feelings and trying to just understand how I even felt, period, myself. You know, I was trying to grieve, I think, you know, I don't know. But I remember that very time that all this was happening. Okay. I mean, it hurts me so bad because it was such a low point in all this. It was very low. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, it's my birthday and I don't even feel like I have the right to breathe because Tylee, JJ, and Charles and Tammy, you know, they're not breathing. It just, I don't know. It was weird, like I said, but I felt guilty for living. But meanwhile, in true crime Communityville, okay, this is going on and all things like this are going on. People are telling you how you should feel, how I mean, right here, I don't really care whether she's happy or not. Well, who are you? Who are you? And thank you. Thank you for finally saying what I felt this whole time. I know you don't care. So, I mean, you're basically just finally showing your true colors, in my opinion. Let's go back. Anyways, pisses me off.
So I don't really think she's got much to say about it.
I don't think Kresha said no one consulted her. I think she tweeted that no one contacted them to tell them what was going on. But let's continue.
I understand that Kay didn't know anything about it, and I don't really care whether she's happy or not.
Obviously.
Frankly, the only reason that these folks
didn't
have an opportunity to reach out to the families and to explain what their plan was because somebody within the community leaked this information before these people were ready to make the announcement.
Okay. So why not call the families and say, hey, this is leaked? Yeah. Let's say their whole plan was leaked. Why not call the families and say, this is leaked? Before we put out our press release, we want you to be aware of it so you're not blindsided.
And again, everybody has poo-pooed so much on this already. It's like, I appreciate where these people are coming from and wanting to buy the property and buying the property and wanting to do what they're going to do with it. But again, don't say that you're conferring with the family when you are not. And then all these things are coming out and you're still not conferring with the family. And then you're still going on. But then she's telling us how we can feel. This one right here, Lori, is telling us how we can feel and how she doesn't give a shit how we feel, obviously, right there. Okay. And we have nothing to do with this except to speak out, and I didn't even speak out on flipping Twitter X. I didn't. Okay. I do it right here because I don't hide behind a damn keyboard. Okay.
But I want to play again what she said about Kresha and Kay.
To say about it. I understand that Kay didn't know anything about it, and I don't really care whether she's happy or not. Frankly, the only reason.
I'm sorry. I think that's horrible.
I do too.
I think that's terrible. Am I? Hey, and please, people in chat, let me know if you think I'm wrong. And can somebody tell me why?
Yeah.
They had to put the press release out before contacting the families. With this, let's just say it wasn't the names being leaked. Let's say the whole plan was being leaked.
Right.
Why not pick up the phone and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Here's what, let's sit down and talk about this. And who cares? Let people talk about it. Who cares? It's nobody's business except for the victims' families. That's who they needed to talk to.
Allegedly, that's what they're making it out to, and not Trish. I'm talking about. That's what I guess these people who are buying the property and Lori Hellis, because I mean they're I guess communicating with her according to because I did watch Lori Hellis's the whole thing because somebody kept saying to Trisha and Web Sleuth that you got to watch the whole video. You got to watch the whole video. And I did 17 minutes of it. And I mean, I was just like, okay, excuse, blame. You have to go. This is basically what I was getting from it was you have to go through Lori Hellis. She's your news source. Okay. That's what I got from it. And I mean, it's really shitty. Children of darkness and light. Really shitty. And I mean, oh yeah. And it again, when I read this last night, when I read all this, it says this channel is dedicated to the true crime story of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Nowhere does it say, it's not about Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. The Doomsday couple stands accused of the murders of Lori Vallow's children, Tylee Ryan, JJ Vallow, Chad Daybell's wife. They are awaiting trial. You might want to update that. They're not awaiting trial anymore. In Idaho, Lori Vallow is also awaiting trial for the murder of her fourth husband. Correct. But you might want to update that. Okay. Instead of looking like this. Just saying.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome. Surprise.
I'll speed this up.
Apparently, there's been a lot of furor going
Bullshit.
on about some
Bullshit.
really big news that I knew was coming up, and I wanted to take a minute to talk about.
Well,
and
good.
this is the big news. You all know that a few weeks ago, it came out. Well, a few weeks ago, John Pryor put the Daybell property on the market. For those of you who might not be familiar with the case, although I suspect everybody is, who's here today.
Well, that's what you get for assuming.
John Pryor
knows.
received the Daybell property in lieu of attorney fees from Chad Daybell. And so that happened a couple of years, I think, before the trial, Chad's trial actually happened. After the trial was over, Chad Daybell put the property on the market.
Glad you're here.
To recoup some of the attorney fees and the the hundreds of hours he'd spent preparing Chad's defense. My understanding is that there was more than one group that was interested in the property. One of those groups was a group that wanted to turn it into a murder Airbnb destination.
Okay. All right. So there's option one. Just put a pin in that. Okay. And I want you to hear how it's presented. Okay.
Some local folks who really preferred not to be named.
I feel bad for these people.
Bought the property with the intention of using it as some sort of a community gathering place. Their intention is to take down the house and to turn it into a park. When the house went on the market, I know this because I've had communication with the people who are the buyers.
So I know, nobody else knows, but just I do. Hold on.
When the property came on the market, they believed that they needed to move quickly and make an offer on the property to make sure that it wasn't going to be misused.
Okay, hold on, it gets better, because somebody was going to make an Airbnb murder house, blah, blah, blah. But then these people, this is how she's spinning it. These people came in, they wanted to hurry up, move on and put it, purchase a house so that they could stop it from becoming a Airbnb tourist attraction. Okay. Which, I mean, either way, they're going to be tourist attractions. Anyway, it's already a tourist attraction,
Or turned into something unsavory. So they made an offer on the property. Since then, they have been sort of scrambling to try and set up their nonprofit organization and to make all of the arrangements.
So if I am somebody, and my whole point in buying this house, again, I'm appreciative, but just hear me out. I'm going to buy this house with the intention of creating a nonprofit organization and naming it Crossroad Park, a place for healing and hope. Crossroadpark.com here. Okay. That's my whole intention. I'm going in with these plans. Why would you still not contact the family first? Okay. That's all I'm asking. Why would you contact Lori Hillis first?
Make it a nonprofit corporation. And that has been challenging. They were not really prepared at this point to announce their plans, but somebody in the local community outed them.
And this is not our problem again. So it's like we're getting blamed for responding to something that was out of our control to begin with. And then this one's stirring the damn pot. Not in a good way.
And now they've had to come out with an announcement before they really were ready to do that.
Okay. So what you do is this is what I would have done, is I would have made this little press release here for the public. Okay. Because there is public interest in this, obviously. Okay. Then I would have made another one and I would have sent it to the family members. That's what I would have done. But that's just me.
All anyone knows is what is in this news release. There is no other information that is being released at this point. So anybody else who is out there on the internet is purely speculating.
That's a dig at Lauren, I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now.
I want to be clear that I have had conversations with the buyers. I know what their intentions are.
Well, isn't that special,
I know that they intend for this to be a community space and to honor the victims. I do not know what the shape of that organization is going to look like. I don't think they're 100% sure yet. But anybody else who's out there doesn't have any more information than what's in this press release. So anybody else talking about this is purely speculating.
I can talk about it. You know why? Because I have interest in it. Okay? You don't.
I do not understand why this information that was leaked from people who were not entitled to leak the information.
Not our problem.
I don't know why this information has caused such a furor in the true crime
It's not that. It's you.
community. These are people whose heart and money are in the right place, and
Correct.
they wanted to do the right
And
thing.
you're shitting
And they
on it.
wanted this to be a space where the victims and other victims of crime could be remembered, for it to be a place for healing. And they did not want it turned into a spectacle, which was a possibility because there were other buyers that were interested in turning it into a true crime destination. So,
so where do your proceeds go for your book?
Before anybody jumps to any conclusions, I really think that we all need to take a deep breath, step back, and allow these folks to do what it is that they have planned to do. So anybody speculating beyond what is in this news release does not know what they are talking about. I'm here.
So shh. So be quiet.
Here to tell you. Y'all know me. I shoot straight with you. And I can tell you that people out there who are ripping their clothes and, tearing their garments and gnashing their teeth.
She just said tearing their garments. Oh my God. Is that a dig at them at LDS people? I'm just asking. Oh my God. Tearing their garments.
Don't know what they're talking about. These are good intentioned people, and I'm a little bit frustrated with them.
So, I mean, does that make us not good intentioned people because we're just simply responding to it? Like we're not supposed to be able to respond to it because frankly, you don't care, right? You said it. You don't care what Kay thinks. You don't care what I think. I have no say so. Even though I didn't say anything, you brought me into it.
Furor that's out there. So
Thanks
please understand that there will be much more information coming out in very short order. But these folks, out of best intentions,
are you representing them? Are you their attorney? Asking for a friend.
Decided to put their money up to buy this property so that it could be a place that would honor victims and would not exploit the crimes.
What? Exploit? You can get your copy of Children of Darkness and Light by Lori Hellis on Amazon.
They have not really had the opportunity to lay out all of their planning because somebody out there jumped the gun and leaked information that they were not prepared to share yet. So if they don't have a complete plan mapped out for all of you, it's because this information came out quicker than they had planned. But there is a plan, and they will, as they're able, they will be outlining that plan, both to true crime fans and to...
It's not a fucking fan, okay? This is my fucking family, true crime fan. I don't like the language, y'all. Oh my God.
The victim families. Understand that up until about a week ago, the Daybell kids were living in that property, and it has taken them.
Don't they have all the way up till the time that it closes, right? I mean, am I stupid? Maybe so,
They were nice enough to give them extra time to move out of the property and find someplace else to live.
So again, we should be thankful because of that, because she's saying all that. Why is she saying all this? Why?
They have been waiting to get possession of the property. The deal has not closed yet. The final closing won't happen until early September. They have been waiting to make sure to.
So see, I mean, there we go. Early September. What does it say on here? Crap. I can't see it. Let me move this. Let's see. Let's read this. A new August 8, 2024 for immediate release. This is from Crossroad Park. The people that are buying Chad's house. A new nonprofit is being created to turn tragedy into hope in Rexburg, Idaho. A local benefactor who prefers to remain anonymous has entered into a contract to buy the notorious property formerly owned by Chad Daybell. The property was the burial site of murdered children Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow, Chad's second wife and mother of the children, were convicted for the murders of Tylee, JJ, and Chad's first wife, Tammy Daybell. The home, which was deeded to Chad Daybell's former attorney, John Pryor, to pay Chad's legal fees, was listed for sale shortly after Daybell's conviction. The transaction is expected to close in early September. Okay, I was just making sure she wasn't letting out any extra info. The purchaser, a local resident of the area, intends to create a community space from the property that will honor the victims and facilitate healing. They are in the early stages of envisioning the plan and will consult closely with the victims' families. Further information and a new website will be released soon.
to put all the pieces together before making any grand announcements. Unfortunately, they live in a small community.
I mean, this is a pretty big announcement.
Where information gets leaked that wasn't intended. So I just want you all to know, I think this is a really good thing. I think that
it was till you got in it.
These are people who have absolutely the best intentions for this property.
And I mean, as long as we are okay with what she thinks is good, she don't give a shit what my mom thinks. Okay. You remember that. Never forget that. I'll never forget it.
They are your neighbors. So before everybody gets all their hackles up over this, I think you ought to wait and hear how things work out. I just wanted to jump on this live because I've been seeing all this stuff flying around, most of which I ignore, but I've gotten a couple of screenshots from people about what's being said out there. What I will tell you, because I know these people, is exactly what is in this release is the information that is available. And anybody having any other speculation about it is full of it. I'm trying to be as polite as possible at this point. I just want you all to know that. If anybody's got a couple of quick questions, I am happy to answer a couple of quick questions. I want to thank Jen for hopping on at the last possible moment.
Speaking of Jen, I remember when my friend Jen came out with a video, and it was about exploiting murder victims, family members of murder victims, even, you know, when you exploit a case. It's just like the ripple effect. It also affects us who are living, who are left behind to shoulder the burden. Okay. And Jen didn't mention any names, not one name. And I mean, I was so honored whenever she released this video about exploitation, especially in the Daybell case. And this one here to my left, emailed Jen. And also leaked. Oh, you heard me. Leaked Jen's email back to her. And Jen, I mean, basically they were saying, Jen was like, Lori Hellis was telling Jen to take down the video. And Jen was like, no, apologize, you know? And anyways, and it ended up all kinds of people from True Crime Underground. I do believe, I don't know. Nothing. I'm not saying anything against the group. I like the group. It's just the people that are using the tools like this one right here. Okay. And she sent people to, or maybe she didn't send them. Let's just say that. Let's just say that people take it upon themselves to go and, you know, defend people that they believe in. Influencers, people who are authoritative, maybe writing a book on the matter. Anyways, so that was the beginning of the end of my friend Jen, True Crime Unveiled. And I miss her, and it's because of this one right here. Basically took the only friend I had at the time, because all hell broke loose after that. Jen has also been, I'm not saying that she did it, Lori. I'm just saying that ever since then, it's been hell for Jen, and it breaks my heart because I don't know how to help her, you know? She's been hacked ever since then too. And it's like watching somebody destroy another, your friend's life or whatever, and feeling kind of like responsible for it because I have to do with the Daybell case, you know, and if she had never messed with me or became friends with me, then, you know, she probably wouldn't be hacked right now. And it really is shitty all the way around. But it's all because people and their own narratives, their own agendas, and it's gross. It's so gross.
To do this. And I will say that the folks who are involved in this transaction are very frustrated and very unhappy about the way they're being treated.
So she wants us to care about that, but she doesn't care about my mom or what I think or what any of us think. Okay. But she cares about what they think because it's what she likes and whatever.
And it is absolutely unnecessary. So those creators out there who are passing around stuff they don't know anything about, I can tell them they are not right. And these folks have every right to be frustrated by the treatment that they're getting and the sort of onslaught.
They have every right to be frustrated. Oh my God.
A lot of online BS that's coming their way. These are your neighbors. And I don't think that it's fair for you all to jump to conclusions, not my followers, but the true crime community out there. I don't think it's fair for them to jump to conclusions and crap all over these people. So,
wow. You know,
I want for my followers to know that I have every confidence that these people have the best of intentions.
She just appreciates your money that you've put into her pocket there with her little book.
And I think that they're being unfairly treated right now. And I want y'all to know that.
God.
So let me know if you've got a couple of quick questions. It is not Heather Daybell's family. It is not anyone related to.
I don't see that on the press release. Okay. Why are you giving out more info?
To the Daybell family in any way. These are members of the Eastern Idaho community. And they are people who are business owners in the community. Doesn't have anything to do with any member of the Daybell family. So they were kind enough to give Emma and her husband and their children time to find someplace else to live. I know that school is getting ready to start here pretty quickly in a lot of places, and so I'm sure that they were trying really hard to get some security before the school started. Well, I see somebody saying Kresha tweeted out that no one consulted her. Kresha didn't put the money up for the property, so I don't really think she's got much to say about it. I understand that Kay didn't know anything about it, and I don't really care whether she's happy or not. Frankly, the only reason that these folks didn't have an opportunity to reach out to the families and to explain what their plan was because somebody within the community leaked this information before these people were ready to make the announcement.
But you don't care what anybody on this side thinks, regardless. And so, oh my God. Let me just play it because I'm going to say some shit I really will regret.
They didn't have the opportunity to reach out to Kay and Larry. They did not have the opportunity to have conversations with the family.
Just you.
Because their phones started blowing up because people were contacting them because they'd heard that they were buying the property. And they heard it from somebody who wasn't authorized to release that
She's talking about Lauren.
information, but who did. So
oh my God, it was all on the internet. Okay. It's not like it was, top secret shit.
If the family members want to be very unhappy with people, they should be very unhappy with the people who are involved in this transaction and who leaked it.
What? If the family members want to, what?
Wasn't authorized to release that information, but who did. So if the family members want to be very unhappy with people, they should be very unhappy with the people who are involved in this transaction.
Okay.
And who leaked it.
It's weird because I'm just only angry with you.
So the buyers did not have the opportunity to sit down and map out their plans. They were going to wait until the transaction was finished, until they had created their nonprofit organization, and until they had done all of the legal things so that they could do it in a way that was respectful and was helpful and measured. They did not have any intention of releasing this information to anybody.
It's like Tim Ballard saying that it's our faults because the ladies, are filing civil suits and alleging, sex abuse charges against him. And that's why he can't save all the children. That's what it sounds like to me.
Until they were much further along in this process. But unfortunately, small town Idaho strikes again. So I'm sure
she just loves that community. I'm telling you
that once the Kay Woodcock, Kay and Larry have an opportunity to hear what these people have in mind, they will be supportive. Once again, I have to say, these people put up a lot of money to buy that property with
she really don't have to say anything, but here she is.
The best intentions to do something good for the community.
So what are yours?
So that piece of property wouldn't continue to be an eyesore and wouldn't continue to be a magnet for the macabre true crime community.
Macabre? I mean, you benefit from it though, right? Right?
So I want you all to understand that this is absolutely not the way these people would have wanted this announcement to come out.
I agree. I hope. I don't think so. All I'm saying is I wish they wouldn't have gone through you, and or maybe they did, and maybe you're just taking it upon yourself to, stand up for them or whatever. But it's you that's bothering me.
They had a plan. They had a plan to be able to announce, here's the plan, here's our vision for what this is going to look like. They had a plan. Unfortunately, somebody in the community short-circuited their plan, and they had to move a lot faster than they intended to.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that it is.
But you don't care what Kay thinks anyways. So there's that nugget.
I think that everybody is getting their hair on fire over something they don't need to.
I'd rather
I think
catch
that there are
them
a
on
few
fire.
creators out there who are fanning that fire, and it is inappropriate and unnecessary.
It is right
So,
here. It is right here. Here's your creator. Fanning my fire. My hair is on fire.
I will have more information for you when it becomes available.
Well, good. Authoritative source.
Right now, I know what they're doing. They are trying to get all their ducks in a row so that they can present a cohesive plan to the families as well as to the community. And somebody jumped the gun for them. So this is everything everyone knows at this point. And any other speculation is purely that. And I would have to say that I think a lot of it is very mean-spirited.
Oh,
And I don't like it.
correct.
I don't think that anybody
Hold a mirror up.
who's willing to put $300,000 up for the good of their community
It was 350,000.
ought to be taking any heat from anybody. Yes, they did. Thank you. I don't recall. They saved it from becoming something horrible because the other offer was somebody who wanted to turn it into a true crime Airbnb.
Oh, the way she is saying it, y'all, is like, oh my God. I don't know.
Now, I'm pretty sure that the community of Rexburg didn't want that in their community. And I'm pretty sure that the families of the victims would absolutely not have wanted their loved ones to be remembered.
It's the tone, too. It's the freaking tone.
That way.
Well, but we know they'll always be remembered that way. That's where they freaking were unearthed. Okay. That's when you came in.
So before you get on your high horse, all of you,
oh my God,
and go after people with only the best intentions, I think maybe you need all the facts. And that's why I'm here on this live tonight.
Oh my God.
So I don't have anything else to say other than I think that we all ought to take a deep breath.
Whoa,
and
that's a lot to
put
say.
our hair out and let our better angels prevail. So, unless anybody has any other questions, I'm going to say goodnight and go enjoy.
Well, good, because you just browbeat everybody.
My Friday night, and I hope that all of you do as well. I'm a little bit disappointed in the
her hair's on fire
true crime community and in some creators out there who have jumped to a lot of conclusions with very little facts. So I will leave you with that. And I think that once the facts come out, there are some creators out there who are going to have a little bit of egg on their face. So
egg on your face, big disgrace. Just saying, y'all. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Let me get over here. Oh my God. Oh my God. She is saying that the purchasers had been identified. I don't even get this. She is saying that. Yeah. Oh, she'll say deep breath again. It's not up to her to speak for other people's generations. Thank you. I'm definitely not a creator, but I mean, I'm thinking she's aiming that towards like Trish Websluice, for speaking up and taking up, defending, and I appreciate them for that, because usually when people do that, they catch a lot of hell from people who just either don't care or they haven't peeled back the layer to even like be an empath and say, oh, well, if that were my family, how would that make me feel? You know what I'm saying? It's nuts. Just, I don't know. It was the tone even of it was shitty, Let me look something up real quick. I know. Whoop. I'm gonna go look up Mom's tweet. Oh, I should have probably put X in there. All righty. Yeah, I found it. All right, so I'm gonna go here and fix my aspect again. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'll change it. So this is, my mom, and not very handy dandy with this, but I'm trying to see when it was posted. August 9th. Today is the 12th. So this, and Mom points down towards this. Nobody asked for thoughts or endorsements from our nor Tammy's family. JJ, Ty, Tammy buried like animals. It's gross. Perhaps if it happened to their loved ones, they would feel differently. I don't wish this nightmare on anyone. And then Hidden True Crime had written, I hope they start their last line and, quote, consult closely with family, unquote. Numerous families of the victims do not know about this. Let's find out if they want a park or a memorial there. I'd also remind the person who wrote the release that this was also where Tammy was murdered. Correct. So, I mean, there's that whole story. Yeah, there's some comments right here. Yeah. I mean, again, I think it's just kind of, it's the way it's gone about, you know, there's a way and then there's not a way. There's the right way and then not. And anything, including Lori Hellis, in my opinion, is not the right way. She can feel however she wants to feel. It is not her family. Okay? She has no say-so, no claim in this. None. She doesn't have to shoulder the burden. She doesn't have to do any of this. She's over there on the collecting end with her hand out. Okay? And that's exploiting on my family's pain. That's just, there it is. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. There's people of the jury, I mean, who, in my opinion, they handle it the right way. Very respectful, very thoughtful. No more sucker punches, okay? Because that's what this is. It's just been one sucker punch after the other. I don't think so. They've reported on it, but I don't know. I mean, nothing stands out to me. So, Beach Mom says, "Oh, I know. I meant they counted the money before they got it. Glad Brandon is here and sued those attorneys and cleaned their clocks." Right? $12 million. Right? Okay, so it's not just me. There's a tone, and like she was chewing everybody's ass for what, you know? Yeah, you know, not her true crime followers, but all of you, you know, all of you. Damn it, follow the money every damn time, every time. Where was the paper from the Crossroads published? Let me go look. Well, oh, you mean like, hold on. Whoa. Let me fix my aspect again. It shows, like, right here, it says Nate News Now 2 hours ago. Or, I mean, this was, you know, the one that my mom had posted on, I guess. Again, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's what you mean. Let me know if that's what you mean. It does sound like Tammy B, huh? It's your fault that all the children are not being saved now because of my actions. Basically. $300,000 on her wage. That isn't much. She's so upset because she is the buyer. My suspicion. Interesting. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting? That'd be an awful change or an awful bit of news to find out. Oh my God. You know? Oh my God, what's worse? Oh. Wouldn't they be happy that you guys found out about their good deed? One would think. But again, it's like she's like, I don't care what Kay thinks. I don't care. Frankly, they have no say-so in it, okay? But then she's like, it's the town's fault for leaking the shit, okay? But then, so we need to be respectful of some feelings that aren't respectful of ours? It's weird. It's a weird argument there, you know, in my opinion. Children of light and I don't know, it's stupid. Children of darkness and light. Anyways, y'all, it's nuts. Again, I could write a book just on this part of it. It's crazy. There's a lot of things that, I mean, myself, I am a very sensitive, emotional being. Okay. And I know that about myself. I know that's not always good. And in fact, I don't think it's good at all. Sometimes I wish I had shoulders of steel, where those kind of things wouldn't bother me, but they do. And I can't help that they do, but I can control. The only thing I have control of is how I respond to it. And you can't respond to all the negativity or all the things that upset you, especially when there's 2 children missing. Okay. You have to put all that shit to the side. You have to just pretend like, none of this stuff bothers you. You have to be able to discuss it. You have to. That's how you do something that is for the good, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's how to be selfless, you have to put all your stuff on the side. And that way you can talk about all the difficult things that it entails that comes with a case like this. It's so heavy and it's so much, and it is so much to unpack. And I couldn't imagine doing this without an entire community, a village, you guys, me too, Alpha Film, me too. Couldn't have been more happy. Yeah. You just never know. That's where you have the power, in my opinion. And I think that's a good example to lead by. And I mean, that is where we have the power. It's to not fluff it up. I unsubscribed to Zav Girl whenever she pulled what she pulled. I just don't want to endorse that. Again, it's not to be like snide or snooty or stuck up or I'm more special than you. It has nothing to do with that. It's my family. These are my family members. This is my family. And it affects my parents. I mean, I've watched my own parents, my brother. I've watched my aunts and uncles. I've watched so many people be affected by Lori and Chad's actions, much less having to feel protective over us, my living family members. Even I feel protective of them because I'm watching this change them. I'm sure they can see the same in myself, and I mean, none of this is right. None of it, but we definitely don't need people like Lori Hellis right there. I don't. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a very loving place at all. And again, to each their own. I don't get to tell her what to do, but she definitely don't get to tell me how to grieve. Okay. I mean, she can say it till she's blue in the face, but yeah. Like, I think let me go see if I am. See, I'd already done it a long time ago. I'd unsubbed a long time ago. I don't even hit thumbs down because that's interacting with the video. I just don't. So again, I think that's where our power lies. I know we feel powerless a lot of times, with these types of things, but it really, there's power in numbers. There's strength in numbers for sure. Yeah. Because I didn't tweet yet. I was sleeping straight up. Didn't even know any of this was going down. Straight up. So it wasn't. It was mean and unnecessary. Again, it's very much like that. Like if you hold a mirror up to people like that and you're just like, okay, you're projecting, stop being mean and ugly, stop getting your undergarments, whatever the hell she said, your hair's on fire, basically. And just browbeating her damn community. Just saying. My opinion. Oh, no. Oh, let me go see. Let me refresh it. Nope, it's still there. Here, I'll put the link in the chat for you. It's still there. So, yeah, I can still see it too. See? Surprise! Anyways, All right. Well, again, and I think that just by her doing what she did with it, Toxin says, insulting Idaho and saying it's a place for the community, right? But yet it's the community's fault for leaking it, you know? It's like, damn, it's your fault. It's all your faults, don't you know? Shame, shame, shame. Yeah, she did. She started out answering legal questions. She even had that newsletter that would come out. I mean, it was helpful. It was. But again, it was just like this to me. It was like this authoritative, you heard it here only. Whatever this person says, it goes. And it's just like, wait, but like, I mean, it's just I mean, really, if you think about all these creators, myself included, like whenever, like tonight, the whole thing was about, look, let's just posit this, you know, let's just assume, or let's oh my god, speculate that maybe they are remote viewing, you know. I mean, it's just theories. That's all I can do. That's all we can do. And it's just like, I'm right, everybody's wrong. You know, that's not how this goes. So that ain't right. That ain't right. My mama raised me better than that. You know, I don't either. LA, I don't want to support people who profit from tragedy. And I remember capturing a screenshot of my uncle responding to her post, okay, about writing a book. And he was upset. And I get it. I was upset too. You kicked yourself out, girl. Get your butt back in here. Jean Marie says, oh, like, hey, why isn't she practicing law? I wonder. I know. And then, okay. Oh, another thing was about her moving from Arizona to Idaho for the trial. I was like, well, no, I didn't ask you to do that. Nobody, as far as I know, nobody asked you to do that. But it's like she was doing us a favor by doing that. That's how it kind of came off to me. And I remember whenever she, there was that hearing with Lori Hillis where my parents flew up there. My parents flew up there just to make that hearing, and it makes me wonder again, whether they flew up there just to kind of make sure that their names stayed unused. Okay. Because people be using names. Okay. Trying to make their case. And I mean, if they have nothing to do with that, Yes. 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 Yep. Yep. That's one thing that I learned in the very beginning. And I was like, oh my God. Because I was thinking, what if the church does this? I'll be pissed. Because if the church never said their names, and I'm not sitting here talking shit about the church. I'm just saying that was like one of the first things that flew through my mind. And then after that, I'm like, well, but anybody can, anybody can. An NPO, a nonprofit. I'm learning, and I've learned the hard way through these nonprofit organizations. It's a way for people to kind of do what they will. I mean, but yet I know that there are people who do the right things with them. We had Janet that was in here a lot. I want to say, or was it, it might have been Jeannie Marie. I don't quite remember. I was one of them, one of you two, that worked with nonprofit organizations. And so that's what kept me thinking, okay, they're not all corrupt. It's just a lot of the people that I research and look at in and around this group, around Chad and Lori, they exploit every damn thing. Okay. Good catch, Beach Bomb. Yes, that too, Kay Layla. Am I saying your name right? Kay Layla or Lala? Let's see, Beach Bomb. What is it? Shut the front door. Am I misinterpreting this? The nonprofit organization isn't Hellas's name? Let me just wait. Let me calm down. Yes, it is. Donnell Allen says it's too bad how creepy people are giving nonprofits a bad name. And then Toxin says, OUR is a complete fraud. and they could have purchased it. Who knows? That's what I'm saying about, like, with what I proposed tonight about these people doing really covert things to make all these missing children, missing people. Okay. And then, here they are, like Frank Vandersloot. I mean, he owns East Idaho News and other media organizations, to where he said it himself, where he could spin, not, he didn't say spin, but for the most part, he can kind of share his way, his ideas. Okay. And I thought I had that pulled up. Hold on. Hold, please. Hold on. Looking for it. Whoa. Hold on. Oh yeah. And also, before I went live, there was Vince Kiakamanu and Ron Ball, an interview with Nate Eaton on their experience with working as investigators in the case against Chad and Lori. So we'll have to go over that another time. I'm looking for something real quick, because I like to show better than tell. I'm better at showing. Not good at repeating what other people said. Let's see. Do. Okay, it's not this one. There's 3 videos. Hold on. But yeah, when you do follow the money, so to speak, I find it interesting to kind of actually see who supports what, where it's endorsed, like the places used and preferred. Like, the media is listed as East Idaho News, and I mean, I don't blame them. However, I'm just like, why? What is your interest in this? Why? And I mean, I think that's a very understanding questions to ask, especially when you're trying to figure out what's involved in your own family's misery and murders and all the exploitation. I mean, it just kind of goes to show, to me it does. To me, it says a whole lot. I'm looking for it. Hold on. Damn it. I can't talk and look. I am not that coordinated. Let's see. Okay, here's the long one. All right, let me get to the spot. Oh, shit. Let me get to the spot. Okay, here we go. And let me go and share this window real quick. And then we'll leave not long after this. Because it's getting late, y'all. It's a school night. Okay. Let me turn it on.
Environmentalist that wants to stop everything. It's the forest and the streams that I think we ought to protect.
Frank's also been involved in other controversial issues, but perhaps none as well known as his battle with the Post-Register. In 2005, the paper published a 6-part series about Boy Scouts who were molested by their camp leader.
I do think that Boy Scout thing was way out of line.
Frank wasn't upset the Post ran the story, but he didn't like the way they did it. So he used his monthly community page news ad in the Post-Register to attack the Post-Register. He even hired a law firm to conduct comprehensive research into the story.
Now, that doesn't mean there weren't mistakes made, and that doesn't mean that there weren't children that were molested, for Pete's sake. But I felt like they were trying to blame the wrong people. Instead of blaming the molester, they were trying to blame all the youth groups and the Boy Scouts, and
so he did
blame
this.
the leaders, and they're trying to blame Their church organizations.
The Post-Register
This is
believes
Boy
it did
Scout.
nothing wrong and stands by the story. No one mentioned in the articles ever asked the paper to issue any corrections, clarifications, or retractions,
So
and
they're
the
right.
story won numerous awards. State laws concerning child abuse were even changed because of the series.
Are you still at
odds with the Post-Register and over the whole Boy Scout thing?
Not at all.
In fact, both Frank and the Post-Register believe they learned from the disagreement.
I didn't understand the sensitivity of the victims on all this. I've learned a lot, became really good friends, really, really good friends with some of the victims that were involved.
It was around this time when Frank became interested in acquiring media outlets himself.
Soft Rock,
East Idaho
Classy
News was born.
97.
He ended up purchasing 5 high-rated radio stations from Bonneville Communications.
We're ready to kick off the lunch hour.
The church on
renamed the
Bonneville.
group Riverbend Communications.
I know that I've appreciated when my kids listen to good music, and I like stations to listen to that offer that.
I declare my intention to run for president of the United States.
Frank's also dabbled in politics, endorsing candidates like Mitt Romney.
Thank you, Governor, for being here again with us.
Jim Risch, and
Risch,
voicing
Risch.
his opposition against others.
Judge Herndon would have been one of those. Kathy Silik on the Supreme Court was one of those. When you get enough opinion that the job isn't being done correctly, you could draw conclusions that we'd be better off to have somebody new in the position.
Are you ever going to run for politics, run for office?
No.
I would be bad at it. I like to be in a position where I get something done. And they've got, I mean, there's all this negotiations and deal makings and all of that stuff going on.
And then
But
here's
I
Adam.
amount of things, like you get a story
I don't
inside
think
of a
it's-
story.
I don't
and a
think I'd be
story.
good at it.
Huge influencers like the billionaire Frank Vandersloot was writing up op-eds that probably I think they cost $100,000 worth of advertising over a period of time or something. I don't know the number. I heard someone say that.
I was muted.
To talk about like this child abuse story, it wasn't the case. There were letters going as if they came from the first presidency all over the Mormon church in Idaho and Utah talking about this singular event.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, it is.
that
And East Idaho
they
News.
had immediately done the right response with child abuse. It only happened once. And, you know, we published those in the Peter Zuckerman Post-Register. We published that letter. And then all these victims came forward, and there was all this documentation of cover-ups, and this story just started exploding.
Cover-ups. Huh.
But it was so difficult. The statutes would have never changed, but my father called.
You heard that?
And my
You heard
mother, they got all these victims
Not because
coming
of the
forward,
story.
and they got these people to write letters, and my mom put them all together and got them organized, and my dad gave them to all the senators to see the true situation. And
Y'all, I want to like reach out to Adam Steed, and I'm telling you, I think because he was so outspoken, and his family, his parents are heroes too, in my opinion. Okay, those are heroes because not only was he wrapped up, Adam Steed, I'm talking about, not only was he wrapped up in the whole Boy Scout scandal. Okay, we know what it is now. Okay, and so he's mentioned that right there about Frank Vandersloot, you know, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on these mopeds to basically spin the story, right? Like it was just a one-time abuse case, and that it wasn't what it is. What we know it is for sure today, a scandal, a cover-up. Billions, I think it's billions have been paid out to or ordered against Boy Scouts of America to pay out to victims. Okay. It would be awesome to do that. Yeah, it would be awesome to do that. I think that Adam Steed holds a lot more of this puzzle piece than he even realizes. Because I mean, just his interviews, like somebody said, it was a game-changing interview. Just to show the level to which the church, in my opinion, even just to show that, to how much the church enables these bad therapists, these practices, the dual relationships, the dual, what do you call it? Anyways, to happen, and how the church even pays for it, you know? And so Adam Steed, I really do. I am of the opinion, this is my conspiracy theory. I think that Adam Steed was positioned to for him and his wife to end up being counseled by Jody Hildebrandt. I think he was targeted, in my opinion. And, Jody does what she does best, and she wrecks homes and abuses people, in my opinion. But, I know. I do. It is still out. Like, it's privated. And I remember I found it on Reddit. I don't remember if it was ex-Mormon or Mormon, but if you follow one of those, if I find it in the meantime, I'll try and share it with you. But you know how if you have the link, you can still see it. You just, it's just privated because until they can release it again. But then there's also another channel that came out with that interview in its entirety too. Now, the one on Hidden True Crime, to me, it wasn't as revealing as the one on Mormon Stories podcast. But again, both of them, again, anytime Adam Steed speaks out, I'm listening. He gets front and center, full stage, everybody be quiet, It is weird how it's connected. And just you peel that first layer back. Yeah, and I know it takes a lot of energy and time. Oh my God, it's time consuming. But to me, it's worth it. It's worth it to see what's all mastering the puppets, and pulling the strings. Yeah. So he bought 5 freaking radio stations from who? From the church. You want to know who worked for Bonneville Communications? Alleged punisher of the LDS Church of Satan, Gordon Bowen. Okay. No, ma'am. And Gordon Bowen is who created he got paid like millions and millions. I want to say $20 million to come up with the whole Christos, the church's brand, the emblem. It's basic. It's very basic. I don't understand. I'm like, $20 million. Wow. And I mean, they paid that to an excommunicated member who'd been excommunicated twice from the church for sexual deviancy. And here he is connected to M. Russell Ballard, just like Tim. Interesting. To me, that's where it's at. There's corruption everywhere. Okay. But this is just corruption that I am pointing out in this case, in my family's case. Oh, you go, girl. Yes. I think that's my job. I really do. I think that's our jobs. Anybody who has again, I don't have the talent. I just had the time. Thank God you guys are here, because holy crap, all this bouncing around in my head. Whoa. Y'all saved my relationship with Jason as well. Poor thing. Oh my God. It sucks though too, because it's like, again, the one who I feel like I'm always a negative Nelly, because I'm just like, well, I don't get too excited about things because I'm like, well, yeah, but what gives, when you're going to pull the rug out from underneath my feet? And I mean, I hate to be like that. I'm highly skeptical, especially now. Wasn't like this too much before. I didn't really care. I didn't have a care in the world as far as this. I mean, really, this made me care. And it made me look at these things and learn this about my own world. And it is the reality behind it. I do believe. Oh, thank y'all. Potster, right? Unite. And but we get people are like, stop looking for patterns, and that's just how, anyways, people, what am I talking about? Oh my God, they use that against you and say, well, I mean, anybody can find it if that's what you're looking for. And I mean, I get it, because it's there too. That's another reason it's there. So it's like, yeah, don't find pattern. We all look for patterns. I really do. That's weather patterns. There's all kinds of things, when you plant stuff, that's a pattern. Oh my God, I found a nest of crap that nobody wants to touch. Nobody wants to touch. But it makes sense to me as to how it gets played out in the media, what gets played out in the media, why, maybe why, I'm just saying this. Maybe why East Idaho News hasn't, I mean, he said that he wanted to interview everybody, but that's not true because he's not interviewed me and he's not interviewed Megan. To me, that's like, well, but we are both outspoken as far as what we find and what we share and what we think about, what's behind all this. And it's not the narrative that they want to push. So, hey, they have the right to be like that, but I have the right to speak out and share how that can't be true. Like it can't be true. You can't say that you want to interview everybody to do with this case. And when you do not, obviously, So again, I don't think I'm anything special. I'm pointing that out because to me, it just kind of goes with the narrative of, sure, you say that, but you're not practicing that. You're not following that up with actions because your actions don't match up with the words that are coming out of your mouth. So, and I hate that. And I hate that the church has gotten a big, huge pass on this because, in my opinion, it has a lot to do with this, and not just this case, but many other cases. Who the side caveat, they're like, oh, well, and I mean, again, I know that Chad and Lori are responsible for the murders. I get it. Trust me, I'm right there. But, and, you have to say, and the church and the police, all the things that factor into this. And that way you can find the root cause. If you don't find the root cause, you can never address it. You can never acknowledge it. Even if you are always deflecting it to something else and everybody else around you, except for your own doing, so when the church and its members are denying this, they're denying my family, my murdered family members. They are denying that this even happened to them. They're denying that Mormonism had anything to do with this. And it does. In my opinion, it does 100%. It goes into this thinking. It does. And that is why it's going to continue to happen. And that's why it does continue to happen, because nobody ever addresses it. And members, instead of like, I've thought about this so many times because it matters to me. It matters to me how members must feel, I can't even, all the things that I've learned about the church and its practices and its doctrines and all the things, the system. Okay. And then the fact that they create like this echo chamber on purpose, and it's a very effective echo chamber, and it keeps the secrets in, it keeps the people out, the non-members, the members who are physically and mentally out, who are just like, that doesn't really sit right with me. And, oh, thank you. It's there all 5 hours. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jean Marie. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. But yeah, it does factor into it, y'all. And I know y'all see it, but it's when people are like, that's not me. That's not my church. Well, I mean, that's your belief, and you're just living, you put your head in the sand. And that's sad too. It's sad. It's sad. Well, hello, pot stirrer. I was listening to that video again the other night with Judge Boyce saying pot stirrer. It's just funny shit. I'm sorry. It just is. You gotta laugh whenever you can, because let me see. Let me pull it up. It cracks me up, y'all. Hold on, I just punched it in. Let's see. Oh, good. It did. All right. Let me see. Hide myself here. It is right here. Oh, come on. Today. I'm very impatient when it comes to this. Come on, man. The hell? Oh.
He did call me a pot stirrer. I remember that as well. Other than that, I think that's it.
He didn't explain what he meant by that.
I've been called that before by family members.
Stirrer, pot stirrer.
Just saying. The way he even looks, I'm sorry. It's kind of cracking me up. It's just, look at his
stirrer.
face. He's like, what?
Stirrer, pot stirrer.
Anyways, it's funny. It's funny, I say. It's funny. Oh, man. Wow. Some good stuff, y'all. That's some good stuff. It's classic. It never goes out of style. A pot stirrer. If I wish you could have seen faces, you know, that video was so bad. The quality of the video really was. But we appreciate Donna for doing what she did. All those days, all those mornings, she was there every day. On time, every time. And that's something I'm not. So it's awesome when you have a team of people that, you know, rally around you and help you do these things. So I don't thank them enough. Donna, Trace, Mary, Sue Ellen, Little Brands, Beach Bum, you know, Satan Taco Tuesday, y'all. Anyways, I've really enjoyed just sitting here with you guys. I miss y'all so much. I really don't know what else to dig into. I mean, there's so much stuff to dig into, of course. I feel like a plunger, though. I feel like a plunger and always bringing up the old stuff, you know? But I mean, we could go into the Tony Robbins and how he is connected with energy, emotion code, body code, and belief code. Doctor/chiropractor, Dr. Bradley Nelson. Thank you, Lynn Bree. Thank you. That was very sweet. Appreciate it. Appreciate all y'all do. All y'all do. Like, thank you, Chris, for buying the memberships. Thank you, little Beach Bum for the same. It's so appreciated. Never expected, but it's so appreciated. Let's see. Recommended, but I'll wait to say. I'm glad I found this channel. I have a reading recommend. Well, bring it on. But I mean, we do need to read the Visions of Glory. I do think. It's not really my cup of tea, but I think that it, you know, for what it's worth, it at least needs to be accessible and at least covered. You know, I want to at least say that I did that and that we went over that as a community and just kind of looked for all the things that could be going on with Visions of Glory. You know, I don't have a PO box. You want to hear something funny? I'm just saying, and I mean, I'm totally doxing myself here. I live on Cox Road. I do. I live on Cox mother effing road. And I've lived here since all this happened. I'm just saying. It's crazy. I can't believe that. But if you email me, then I'll send you my address that way. It's nuts. I know. I do. It is funny. It's funny as all get out. So many cocks on this road. My best friend, y'all, of 30. Oh God, let's see. I'm 46 and we've been best friends since we were 7. She was 6. And whenever I moved here, she was like, girl, you should have, and this is just her and her coon ass talk. Okay. She's like, girl, you should have been living down here. And I'm like, shut up, hooker. You know, I'm just saying it's funny. It's so full of cocks. Oh my God. Well, we're glad to have you, Ladybug. We are. I don't know about work. I mean, again, I just called it, it's difficult. It's so difficult to talk about. And again, when people talk about all these topics and stuff, nobody gets around or gets out of it or gets around it without saying difficult. And I'm like, right? It is difficult. And then it had the CULT, cult, and I was just like, well, there you go. There's a word play. But there's so many things. There's so many things. But I definitely, Donnell, I definitely want to, if I have your permission, I want to, I should have, see, I already forgot it. I have to go back and look, but I should apologize for all the things I said while I was Mormon. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, thank you. It's because of people like you, Yeah, the subject is heart-rendering for sure. What? Hubby wants to have crayfish. First off, they're crawfish, boo. And I'm like, hurl, but let's go toss some necklaces. Oh, some Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras with no bra, huh? It's fun. I mean, if you've never done it, Whew, I got some stories. I've got some stories on top of balcony on Bourbon Street. Oh, my mom is in the story, but we're going to just have to leave that one out. It's still auto-correcting, I think. Sorry on behalf of my phone, right? Oh, okay. That is funny. That's a good saying right there. I'm sorry for what I said while I was Mormon. Oh my God. That's funny. I like what they do. What Nuance Ho, or I think she's going by Carol Burrell now. What they're doing, and just all the little ex-Mormon channels, All right. Hey, Paper Dolly. I'm glad you're here when you catch up to this. I'm behind in the video, but dang, Crush, I love how you think. The portals, remote viewing, disappearances, trafficking, government connections, etc. I'm mad I didn't put this together. Well, we can't do it alone. Just know that. I don't want to do it alone. I mean, oh, Chris, this also makes me think about the whole gang stalking thing, I'm like, that makes sense. If you can portal, allegedly portal, if you can remote view, what are they doing? Is it energy? Or is it just spying? That's free. Imagine, just think about that when you're, in the bathroom or whatever, doing whatever. You think you're alone. And yet people can spy on you and watch you. I mean, there's nothing more violating, in my opinion, than that. It's crazy. Yes. I mean, I didn't even know what that meant. And I was like, oh, Lord, I'm having to learn all these things. And I'm just like, ew, I don't want to know what they are. If I don't know about them, then, I can't run them through my head whenever I'm like, oh my God. I don't have it to worry about, is what I'm saying. Is if I don't know about it, then it's not going to run through my head as an option. But now I'm like, oh no, not another thing. You do? Okay. That is so interesting. So I've purposely not researched these things, like the whole portaling / remote viewing thing, because I was like, just by the sound of it, it just doesn't feel warm and fuzzy at all. It feels like I'm not going to like it, and turns out that's exactly what it is. It's something I don't like and is wrong if it is true. Wonder why my things, let's see. It won't take your comment down. Okay. Well, anyways, there it goes. Thank you, Nightbot. All right, we'll leave on this note right here. Thank y'all for being here, as always. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Yes, gang stalking can make you go crazy. I really think this is what has happened in my friend Jen's case. I really do. it bothers me too that that it even exists, first off, but to sit there and to make people look like they're crazy or whatever, that's par for the course, because that's exactly what they like to do, is make you look crazy to everybody else. They make you believe it,
The widening gyre. The falcon cannot.
This is
hear
how
the
I
falcon.
found that Glenn Beck
Things fall apart.
song.
The center cannot hold.
Bye,
Inner
guys.
anarchy is loosed
Love
upon
always
the world.
wins.
The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity.
Yeah.
Surely some revelation is at hand.
Yes.
Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in the sands of
Long
the
damn
desert,
poem.
a shape with a lion body and the head of a man.
Hi.
A gaze blank and pitiless as the sun is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem.
Watch out for some Tim.
Born.
Here comes some Tim.